Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Abomination wave as we have a look at Energized Emissaries Captain Britain. Captain Britain comes with the other arm that we needed to put together for Abomination. A stellar looking figure. I can't wait to get this guy out of packaging. The one side, you've got Captain Britain. And the other emissary on the other side, we had the Wonder Man that we have already had a look at. As for your back of the package, heroes from around the globe team up to vanquish evil wherever they find it. We've already, of course, as mentioned already, we had a look at Wonder Man. I wanted to look at Captain Britain next. Oh, I so wanted to look at him next, but Spot has some rules when it comes to putting together Build-A-Figures. I wanted to at least get the legs done first, then do the arms. That's why we kind of waited on Britain. But down below the other figures, a complete 6 figures to complete Abomination here. Those 6 figures are movie Scarlet Witch, Secret War Captain America, Marvel's Captain Britain, Marvel's Eel, Marvel's Wonder Man, and Iron Skull. Check out more from Hasbro by heading over to www.hasbro.com/Avengers. Again, Spot has been very excited. I've always loved Captain Britain, so very excited to get this guy out of packaging. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to take a break. You guys can still stay here because it's only going to be a matter of a second or so. But when we come back, we're going to get a better look at Captain Britain. And I guess while we're in the process, we'll build Abomination. That sounds good. Stay tuned, guys. There's more heading your way. Don't go anywhere. All right, so just before we have a look at Captain Britain, let's have a look at the final, not the final, I guess technically the final limb. I mean, that is true, because we looked at the limbs being the arms, the legs, and now we're looking at the final arm. The only thing missing then is going to be the head. So I guess that is right. We'll go with that. That's right. Let's reach off camera. There's Abomination. He's not 100% yet, but we are making headway. Let's pop the arm into its socket. With a little bit of pressure there. There we go. The only thing now we need is a head. And that's going to come with Scarlet Witch. Obviously, he's going to have the last piece for Abomination. Can't wait for that. Captain Britain, though, he does not come with any additional accessories, being open hands or any sort of accessories that could be accommodating this character. I still think this figure is great. I have loved Captain Britain as far as, from a character standpoint, I want to say like junior high. Junior high, I was collecting the Marvel Universe, and I don't know if many people will remember this. Maybe you're a little younger than I am, but the Marvel Universe series cards, trading cards. And it wasn't, actually, no, it wasn't the Marvel Universe. It was X-Men. It was the X-Men, Jim Lee X-Men trading cards. And me and my friend in junior high traded back and forth cards. I guess we weren't really necessarily looking to complete our sets, but what we were looking to do is complete teams. And I distinctly remember, I think he wanted to collect all of X-Factor, and I wanted to collect all of Excalibur. And we basically were just trading back and forth cards. And the one I always wanted to get was Captain Britain. And years later, Spot would eventually get the entire series. But ever since that moment, that was really when I was a huge Marvel fan, was like the X-Men trading cards. Captain Britain has been a fond, loved character from me, at least, since that time. Let's have a look at his face, or in this case, his mask, and then we'll kind of work our way down. The face has a very stoic, heroic look to him. The eyes are more recessed and colored in a dark black, giving him a sense of depth for starters, and also giving him, having his eyes at least stand out a little bit more. Traditionally as well, one of the reasons why I like Captain Britain as well is I like the Union Jack. It's one of my favorite flags of the world. That and of course the Welsh flag, which I have a soft spot for being Welsh. But the Union Jack has always been my favorite flag. And he basically adorns the flag on his costume in the reds, the white trim, and the blue. The blue is a little less traditional Union Jack, as it's coming across more like a metallic light blue. The red is a more darker cranberry, darker burgundy color. And then you've got the white outlining. The white really accentuates this character and really stands out when you've got it against the dark backdrop of the red and the blue. The areas around his hand also are wrapped, in this case, in that white, and he's got the white down in his legs. The paint also, one thing to note though, the paint in his hands aren't quite the same white. That's the white in the forearm area. It's a small little nitpick, but it does stand out where you do see that it's not quite the same white. They are also utilizing a the smaller, stockier build for Captain Britain that I had wished that they had given him the longer build. In fact, if you ask me, a perfect build would have been this build right here, being that of the Secret Wars, or Secret War, Captain America. Just straighten out his leg here. Ideally, if they had done this on this, I would have been a very, very happy guy. He doesn't come across necessarily too squat and too short, but he's a very broad-looking figure utilizing this body. And I had hoped, or looking at it now, I would have, I think, preferred this mold being used for the body rather than this one right here. As for the posability, I mean, that's about the only thing I could nitpick on a negative for the figures. I wish that he wasn't this build, this mold. Everything else I love about this figure. And even the fact that he is using this mold, it doesn't make him a bad figure necessarily. It's just my own personal preference. Now, when it comes to his posability, his head is on a ball joint, full range of motion there, a hinge up and down. While we're looking at up and down, he also has the crunch on his torso, a swivel on his waist, hinged arms, full rotation all the way around. Well, not quite all the way around. It does hiccup a little bit because his shoulder area is so broad. The arm does sometimes get stuck, get wedged when you're trying to rotate the arm all the way around. It only really affects it when you want to move the arm up. This arm's not so bad. This arm here, I find sometimes gets that little hiccup going, trying to get around the shoulder. And see, I can get it around all the way that time. Swivel on the bicep, a double hinged elbow, a rotation all the way around on the wrists, as well as a hinge back and forth. Again, that crunch, the waist swivel, ball joint legs, a top swiveling rotation on the thigh area, double hinge knee, a rotation all the way around on the boot, a hinge back and forth on the foot, and for those liking their ankle pivot, he also has ankle pivot as well. I've been very anxious for a Captain Britain. I think this might be the only Captain Britain we've gotten, I think, in the Marvel Legends treatment. Speaking as a Brit myself, I think the figure turned out really good. Little sad on the proportions and the body that they used for it, but all around the pros definitely outweigh the cons. I'm happy I got Excalibur's member of Captain Britain here. If they only made Captain Wales, I don't know if people would be as on board with that, but I really like here Captain Britain. Probably one of my top 3 favorite figures from this wave. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's got one more video, and that is the movie Avengers Scarlet Witch. Then we're going to have a look at Abomination. So we still technically have 2 videos left to go in this series. So I hope you guys will stick around for that. As always, thanks for watching as you always do. I'll see you next time.